Start
Okay, you
perfectly.
gotta talk to me
Morning.
or it gets weird.
All right.
Morning.
Good
Thank you,
morning.
thank you. All right. I hope, first and foremost, most importantly, I hope everybody has Friday on your calendar. The famous Mr. Bass and I are gonna do in person uh giant stats presentation. We're compiling everything. And what's different about the in-person stats versus this weekly call is more of a deep dive into hyper local trends. We look at the MLS weekly stats on here, but the chart masters, we pull sources from all over the place and bring all the content to you in one compact scenario. So I really, really, really encourage you to be there. Rick Hale, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Rick, we introduced you in the beginning to everybody, and I'm not sure everybody, real quick, introduce yourself because I need to stall. I'm getting an article pulled up.
Yeah, piece of cake. I was been with Keller Williams since 1999. I was one of the very first to help open the Sandy Springs, Georgia office. And then as an investor, I transitioned into the OP role for 20 years. And so Brett and I became friends along the way. And when the time came for me to take a left turn, and I wrote a book, and I've got other pursuits in life, and the OP role, wasn't as invigorating as the first 20 years. This was my transition. So that's how Brett and I became partners. So it's been a beautiful ride.
And we plan on booking your calendar in South Florida, and you're going to go on a teaching tour at some point, right?
I can't wait. That's what my heart sings. That's where I get most excited, inspiring and motivating, and, some education and largely collaboration. I love collaborating with smart people. So can't wait to hang out with you guys in person.
Love it. And I'm going to make mention of this just real quick because I think it's relevant. Rick, you ran a giant REO division team back in the day. And so we're not that it's going to be a giant segment of the market, but I think we're going to lean into you pretty heavy if we start to see an uptick in foreclosures, short sales, that whole thing. And it certainly is a talk of the town at the moment.
Yeah, right on.
All right.
I'm available. We did that for decades when it wasn't cool, and then it became kind of the thing. So.
All right. Well, I am in Las Vegas right now at the Zillow conference, and I'm dying to hear what Zillow says from stage about the industry. And hopefully I'll have some fresh content for you guys on Friday at our stats event coming out of this conference. But let's hit it. All right. Active inventory went up. The active status change went up this week. We're at 939. Active under contract came down a little bit this week. We were hitting some big numbers there for a couple weeks, and then not that we went to a small number, but it certainly is a noticeable off week, if you will. And pendings, you saw it come down about 20. This is Broward County single family closings. Though end of month closings, we hit 266. So if you look at the closing numbers for Broward County single family in the month of October, Richard, I'm going to lean on you here. Is that strong, good, bad, average, poor? What would you say?
It's reflective of the active under contracts and pendings that had spiked up for the month before.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a very healthy October.
Yeah, if we can keep that level going, we're okay.
Yeah, for sure. I think November is going to be pretty strong, and I'm a hope and a prayer for December, obviously. All right, 962, same story. Actives came up in condos, Broward. Not too much of a drop off on active under contract, but ironically, pendings went up. So that's the highest number we've had in pendings in Broward condo since we've been tracking. So that's pretty cool. 166 closings in the last 7 days, 151, 161. You know, we had 200 at the end of September, but it may be in the pipeline, I would say. So let's just keep an eye on it. Running over, I want to go quick here because we talked too much at the beginning. There you go. All right, so 792 on the active, which is a little soft Miami-Dade, but not much. 119 is a very strong number for Miami-Dade single family. We had 174, which, well, there was a 192 back in August, but it's the highest pending number we've had since the summer. And then 227 closings. You know, the only other number, there was a 243 at the end of September and a 230 at the end of July. So pretty healthy stats in terms of just looking at numbers across the board. We're going to dive deep, obviously, on Friday. And then Palm Beach, 84 is kind of active status change, but 153 is a little soft, which looks similar to Broward County, right? And then 121 on the pendings. We've had 130, 127, 121. It's stable is probably the word I would use. But they had 309 closings in October in Palm Beach County single family. That's a big number for that county. If I hit condos, 682 is very healthy in terms of active status change. 110 is the largest number we've had since we've been tracking on condos in Palm Beach. And then 58 pending is kind of an interesting number because we were in the 30s there for a while, and then we went up into the 70s, and we had an 80 a week ago. And then obviously those closings came out of the pending number, but there was 161 Palm Beach County condo closings in the last 7 days. Now there was 200 at the end of September and 122 at the end of August. So, I mean, if you look across the board, single family, it was strong, but there certainly looks like an uptick in condos. Am I reading that right? Anybody else seeing that? Are y'all feeling that? That's the bigger question. Dave, you're muted if you're yapping at me. Okay.
I'm getting showings on condos that I haven't been getting showings on for a while. That's promising.
Good.
That's good.
Definitive precursor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it
All
doesn't
right.
look like
Any questions or
seasonality.
Well,
thoughts?
here's
a
the other
question.
note for everybody on the call this morning. Excuse me. Look at the expired numbers, guys. It's the first Monday of the month after a whole lot of listings expired over the weekend. This is your
Yeah.
day to be out there prospecting for expireds.
Yep.
You
I
bet.
love it. All right.
Expired numbers are a lot lower than they've been for the first Monday of a month.
Yeah, if you look at the across the board.
19,
Yep.
169. Yeah, good point.
Yep.
All right. I have lost my articles, guys. Your text app on your Mac doesn't always update correctly. Hold on a second. That's last week's articles.
The tabs that are open.
Yeah, but I just noticed that's last week's articles.
Got it.
Hang on. Give me just a minute.
So
Richard,
quick question
Yeah,
for you.
go ahead.
I got you. So what's the nature of seasonality in these areas? Is it common that October, November slows, or is it more of a migration and picks up from an uptick in just volume of maybe transients?
If you look at our multi-years, you'll see that October, November tend to be our slowest months, but then we have your summer season we have again in January, February, March.
Because everyone's down and
Right.
I
Yeah,
assume.
the fallacy to our markets down here, Rick, and I don't know if you see the same thing over in Naples, Marco Island, where you are now. People think that the snowbirds come down and our market, picks up, and that doesn't really hold true. You'll see that our market peaks here, the end of the summer in August, and then all of the graphs will show you sliding off to the end of the year and then pick back up again the first of the year.
And I don't really believe we're not the snowbird market that we used to be. That's Port St. Lucie. That's they're further upstate. We're too crowded. We're more of a city. They don't have the peace and quiet that they want here.
That makes sense.
But
Makes sense.
All right.
I don't know about anyone else on the call. I am starting to see Canadian plates that I am surprised because the Canadians don't really like us right now. And I'm seeing more than I thought I would.
I think
Especially
the
after
question
the
is,
I think that's a
Baseball game.
real thing.
do they dislike cold weather more than us currently?
That may be true.
I mean,
All
you
right.
gotta make, you
So
gotta pick.
quick FYI. There is a uptick in fraudulent rental applications. So, one of the things, if you're an experienced agent, you probably have your systems in place if you're doing any kind of lease listings. But if you're newer or inexperienced at doing lease properties, you really need to lean in, and maybe it's a time to just have a class or something. But there's ways you can protect from this. Yet the fraudulent rental applications has become a thing again, and you just need to be on the lookout for it. Does that make sense? All right, next thing. This article is talking about that now that the government shutdown has extended beyond 30 days, it's creating more challenges. And there was a 30-day grace period for national flood insurance programs. But you realize once the government shut down for longer than 30 days, that could start to create problems, especially in Florida, when you almost have 100% flood insurance necessary, right? If the shutdown's still ongoing November 3rd, which is today, and it is, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will start requiring homebuyers who work for the government to show they have at least 2 months of documented reserves when applying for a loan. Now, I don't know about you guys if you have any family or friends that are government employees, but they don't always tend to have the biggest reserves in their financial war chest, from what I understand. So I just need you to be cautious that we may start to see a little more disruption around the real estate world around this government shutdown. It's just an awareness thing. Make sense?
Sense.
We didn't think it was going to be a big effect, but if it extends longer than 30 days, it could start to have an effect on the industry. And you just need to, the two big triggers here are flood insurance. So you need to ask more questions around flood insurance. And then if you're doing a transaction, whether you're a listing agent and the buyer is a government employee or you're representing a government employee, you probably need to be asking more questions if they're getting a loan on the property. Make sense?
Yep.
And, I don't know where I read it, but November 14th is supposed to be a big date that they, in terms of something to get this government shutdown over with before November 14th. And I don't remember why that's a special date, but hopefully in the next 2 weeks, this is a non-issue and we move forward. All right. I'm excited about this article. So we've been talking, and this is the first time I've seen it in print, where the real estate world for 15, 20 years played the lead generation game around SEO. And SEO primarily, easiest way to explain it is how to get found on Google And then Google also monetized that to be able to sell pay-per-click leads and all that fun stuff. Well, the faster AI starts to become the primary source of information for the consumer, the less SEO is going to be viable, and the more what they're calling GEO or generative engine optimization is going to become more of a thing. So if you're a real estate agent that plays an internet-based lead generation model, you need to be tuned into this stuff. And this is what this is a opinion article, I believe, but he's listing 7 things that he believes helps you get found in the AI world. So literally, if I went to ChatGPT or Gemini and said, who are the top 5 real estate agents in Miami, Florida, AI is going to go search very differently than Google would have searched. So Google would have searched for a list that was published in an article. AI is going to go search data and then rank it itself.
Wow.
And does that make sense?
Yep.
So they're saying, obviously, your identity and reputation online matters. So your bios, your profiles, your reputation across the web is how AI sources information. When's the last time you updated your bio? When's the last time you updated your social media bios? When's the last time you updated your bios on Zillow or Realtor.com or Rate My Agent or Agent Pronto? That stuff matters, right? Your reviews matter. So I realized there's agents that played the review game at a high level, but not all agents played the review game at a high level or the testimonial game. It's almost not an option going forward. Then you've got social media, YouTube content. So anything attached to your name is searchable. So if you start doing reels in social media, you start doing YouTube long form content about real estate and the market and hyper local information, that's what AI is going to find when it's searching. So it's a strategy, right? Your market activity, telling the story, right? Don't just post just sold, tell the story behind the sale, the challenge the client faced, how you help them overcome it. We've talked about this stuff, but it's becoming more important is what I'm saying. And then your expertise trail, they're saying turn a client question into a quick video, turn a pricing conversation into a LinkedIn or a Facebook post, turn a showing day story into a TikTok video. Your local authority signals, you can show local authority in 2 ways, through your content and through your involvement. So if you're sponsoring a little league team, part of the PTA or volunteering with a local charity, make sure you're sharing those stories too, because it's a computer engine that's just looking for relevancy to rank. And then obviously your thought leadership, AI looks for thought leadership, proof that you're not just part of your community, but a voice within it. That can happen locally, regionally, or nationally. So getting quoted, being sourced in the local media, your own podcast or YouTube interviews, all this stuff is, I thought this was a good list. And I could tell you there's going to be agents this is overwhelming to. So let me be clear. You don't have to do this. You can be a relationship-based, database-based agent. You can pick up the phone and prospect and win big in real estate. And this speaks directly to the internet-based lead generation game. Thoughts? Overwhelmed?
I have a thought here, and Richard, this is for our market center, maybe the others. This is what I've been waiting for in terms of what do I do with AI? I've been doing the basic, right? Going on and doing basic queries and getting some descriptions on listings, but this is more of what I was looking for. And I think it would be in our best interest to dive even deeper in our market center with someone that is more AI proficient. That because a lot of the agents in the office know there's AI and there's all these other things, but it means nothing to them unless we sit down and have like a clinic.
Yep.
It'll be really difficult for a lot of people to grasp some of these concepts and implement them.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Rick.
I was just gonna say what Mike
mentioned. Sorry, this is Scott Bagoon. That Miko has been doing a great job of infusing AI into his teachings and having regular classes updating us on how to use it and put it into our systems.
Yeah.
I was just thinking it would be smart to have someone show you how to use AI to beat AI so that you know what your consumers are finding and how they would potentially track it so that you can then modify the content to affect a positive outcome. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. And if it's now searching multiple sites and pulling from different, like what are the key drivers that give them an in-game top 10 of anything in a particular market?
Good, Steve.
You want to comment?
Yeah. So I think it was last week. I don't know if they're on, but Chris Toomey and Mariella did something that they've really gotten really good with getting referrals through AI. And I think they've had over 20 in the last few months. So they did a class on it. And I think I recorded it, Alka, so I'll look for it.
Okay.
You know, we're meeting December 2nd, actually in Fort Lauderdale with our entire Inspire Network team. And part of the conversation is what do we need to deliver for you guys next year? And already I know AI and AI training and AI support is going to be a big part of that 2026 value proposition for sure.
Well, for years I said, Google yourself and see what you find and make sure it's in alignment and that it's accurate. Because sometimes it pulls from other people that it's not brilliant. It's just okay. And I guess now you have to backdoor from AI. So go to the 4 or 5 different key AI platforms and play that same game.
Yeah, Frankie, you put Social Media Con in the chat. Tell everybody what that is.
Family reunion. They are doing a whole full day. They're actually kicking off family reunion with Social Media Con. I am super, super excited about this because I'm sure Gary Keller is taking into consideration AI. I'm sure he's taking into consideration all types of social media, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for us.
Yeah. I jokingly said, does that mean we're supposed to dress up? But he made the comment that social media is almost as important or might even be more important than database in the real estate foundation these days. And I'll never forget, I don't know if I've told this story, but this is going back about 15 years, but Facebook was becoming a thing. And I remember standing in front of a room of agents, and there was about 100 agents in the room, and about 30% of the agents crossed their arms and leaned back in the chair and said, that's for the kids. And you fast forward, you just can't imagine real estate today without social media. And I think AI is the next wave of that. Like we're going to wake up 5-10 years from now and go, I can't even imagine being in real estate without some AI as a part of the business. But anyway, I don't want to belabor it. Let's keep going. All right. So this one, Mr. Gervaisi kind of spawned me on a research trail here. And it says, which cities are most house poor and which are the least? And if you get down here to the chart, it shows what percentage of income is spent on housing and it's ranked. So there's Miami comes in 5th, Pembroke comes in 6th, Fort Lauderdale,
which is number 1, is part of Miami, Brett.
Yeah. And Fort Lauderdale comes in 15th. So, it's real. What?
It's my AI picking up the voice.
Oh, okay. So, here's the reality. When your buyers are feeling pinched on affordability, it's real. But there's a second article that I want to hit, which I think is actually going to speaks directly to this. So they started talking about where the strongest buyers market in the U.S. and Austin, Texas comes in as number one, which estimates 130% more sellers than buyers in September. Excuse me. Fort Lauderdale came in number two with 118% more sellers than buyers. West Palm Beach, number three, and Miami, number four. So is this good or bad? It's amazing if you're representing buyers, which is 50% of our transactions, right?
I think so. For here in South Florida, it's a tale of two markets because the single family housing market and the condo market, I mean, those numbers are skewed a lot due to the condo market having so much inventory. Single family housing,
agreed.
If priced correctly, I mean, it's a feeding frenzy out there. We're having open houses with 50 buyers walk through the door.
Yeah, that's area specific too.
Yep.
Fair.
So I'm excited. Richard and I are going to dive deep into the different segments on Friday with you guys. And I think you're right. I think there's the tale of two markets, which when I say that phrase, I usually mean the listings that sell and the listings that sit. But I actually think there's four market segments that have different experiences. There's luxury single family and median home price single family. And there's luxury condo and single or median home price condo. And those four segments are very different experiences. So we're going to look at that on Friday.
But anyway, this chart right here, this is your price reduction chart. Just go.
Yes. Thank you, Dave. 100%.
Yep. So you'll get copies of all this. All right. If you weren't aware, Wednesday, the Fed lowered the Fed rate. And ironically, mortgage rates went up. We started last week at 6.14. And then I think we closed out the week at like 6.3 something. And the Fed lowered the rate. So if that's not your evidence that they're not 100% directly related, that alone should tell you that. But the consumer believes interest rates went down. And I still think they're going to go down if this guy will stop talking. And here's what I mean. So if you don't think the Federal Reserve Chairman has power, he made comments after the Fed rate cut, which sent the mortgage rates up. So Jerome Powell said, mortgage rates rose by 14 basis points after the Fed cut rates as Powell's hawkish tone pushed back on December rate cut expectations. The Fed cut the rate today and the mortgage rate shot higher. This was not shocking to me, as yesterday I wrote about whether Powell would ruin the year's lowest mortgage rates with his remarks at the Fed press event. And that's exactly what happened. So all he did was go out and do a press release, and it made the mortgage rates go in the opposite direction.
Well, it also makes me wonder what percentage of the effect is premeditated based on expectation versus reality post facto.
True.
And so they may have responded to his hawkish comments as, oh, geez, maybe we were out in front of it. Let's not follow the trend until we know what's going to happen because we're a quarter ahead already.
Yep. All right, so my last article real quick says homebuyers, this is South Florida Business Journal, homebuyers are backing out of deals at record rates. Here's why and what it means for the housing market. Before I get into it, this is agent controlled. Home purchase cancellations hit record 15% in August. Buyers cite inspection issues and financing problems for cancellations. So what I believe this speaks to is expectations between sellers and buyers and the agent's counsel around that. So if the sellers are not in line with the current market conditions and a buyer comes in and has a weak agent that there's a story in here where somebody presented a 78 repair request to a seller. I mean, this is the skill set of agents on both sides of the equation that need to improve, right? Like we have got to get our sellers in line with the expectation of what the current market conditions are. One, two, we got to be coaching buyers that this is not completely a buyer's market where they get everything they want too. And I think the strong agents are keeping deals together and the weak agents are allowing this to happen. Is that fair?
One, to Dave's point earlier, I think people see the macro news and think that it applies to every micro market, and it really doesn't. That's where expertise and professionalism on our end can pay dividends by preempting the story with, here's how it's really going down right here, regardless of what you read in the national newspaper or the, on TV.
There
I just
you go.
spoke on this at our office in Wisconsin, and if you're again, it's all about agent intelligence, right? If you're saying silly things are going to happen. Period, and that's exactly what's happening here too.
Oh, 100%, Jeff. All right. Any questions on anything we covered today, guys?
Good stuff.
All right. I hope everybody's registered for Friday. Last plug, if you're not aware, Diana Kokoska is coming to you to speak for you on Thursday. And this is an incredible opportunity. She's one of the top 3 thought leaders in real estate, in my opinion. And I would not miss that event. You need to lean in and you've got to register for it. So, all right, guys, have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have
Bye.
a great day, guys.